Hello and welcome back to the Go Cave podcast. Today's guest is an incredible filmer and an even better rider. His eye for style doesn't stop at his clothing. He goes beyond and brings it into his riding with his amazing use of spots and being able to send some of the steepest tooth hangers in the game. Not only is he able to send some of the heaviest moves in BMX in the recent years, but he has been behind the lens for some of the most amazing video projects, such as the Vans Shimmer video. After joining the Kink Pro team a few years back, we have all been able to see his true talent. I'm stoked to be sitting down with the one and only Calvin Kosovich. Calvin, how are you?
Good, man. Thanks for having me, Cam. Appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This is really cool for me because I actually have, I think, a 6% listener base from Australia, and
Oh, that's great.
I have not been able to get anybody from Australia on yet. So I'm really excited. So thank you.
That's perfect. Yeah, for sure. Hopefully everybody's doing good down under.
Yeah, of course. Alrighty. Yeah, so typically the way we start this show is that we go all the way back to when you first started riding. So tell us tell us how you got started.
Well, yeah, for me, just like skateboarding, going to the local skate park. There's a lot of that. And then I kind of got over the kicking the board away and not really being on top of it. And then seeing the BMXs there, just kind of shredding and getting down was a bit more motivating. You could see them like staying on their bike, and I was like, this is fun. And you could also like commute like back and forth to the skate park easier with a BMX. And then, twisted mom and dad's arm a little bit, and then ended up getting a BMX bike, and I was probably like 13 around that age. And yeah, the rest is history. Kept it going somehow. So yeah, it's been fun, but yeah, I mean, I owe it to a lot of my Perth friends, like Crean Skate Park is where I grew up. And yeah, they put me on the right path. So still doing it to this day, dude.
Hell yeah, man. I always love to hear about people that kind of transition from skateboarding into BMX. So it's kind of cool to see that, you kind of dabbled with that beforehand.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, skateboarding's big. So you kind of get like, and where I'm from is like surf culture. So like surf and skate hand in hand. As skateboarding, you kind of like go into that, that's cool. You should be doing that. But, BMX has its own thing. And once you really like invest some time into bike riding and BMX, it's like, I mean, it takes over, surf and skate, everything that I was kind of into as a kid. And yeah, that whole culture has stuck with me as far as skateboarding. I love it, love watching it. I love the dudes who are in it, and you get influence from it for sure, like watching video parts and finding spots through that, and to bring it into BMX into your own way. So it's a little bit more unique. BMX is a little bit smaller, so if you can bring something new to the table, it's always nice.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think it's really interesting to see how far BMX has come from the roots, right? And like you can see how much influence skateboarding has had since like BMX started, right? Like look at the video parts, man. Yeah. Every filmer that I talk to talks about how they learned from watching skate videos and BMX videos. But the people that filmed those BMX videos, damn well they learned from skate videos.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's just the way it works is like, skate was there first. They started doing their video parts and creating content, and, we just followed, in that footstep. But, the bike is unique in its own way. Like the shit that we're doing on bikes, it's a whole nother world. Like it's very similar, but, when you put a skateboard and a BMX rider together, they don't understand what each other are doing. It's completely two different worlds. There's some dudes who can skate and ride at a high level, but I don't know. I don't really know who they are. Maybe Devin Smiley. He's probably one who can skate really well and ride real well. So, but it's rare, you have to invest all your time into one, to get good at it and like really know what the other is doing as far as skate BMX. And yeah, nobody's really copying anybody, but we're unique in our own way. Fuck them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Another name that comes to mind that, shreds on the bike and also rips on a skateboard is the Fids, actually. The Fids is nuts, dude. Yeah, he's got hand plants and everything.
He's the man. S&M, right?
Yeah.
OG.
Yeah, OG, man.
I haven't met him, but would love to meet him at some point, for sure.
He was one of my first big guests, which was really cool. You know, he was really down with it. He's he's a rad dude.
Hell yeah. The Fids. Shout out to the Fids. Still doing it, dude. Ripping.
Dude, I don't know if you follow him on Instagram, but he posts this every once in a while, but it's him going over the Nitro mega ramp doing a nothing. I'm like, dude, this dude is like
Fucking
50
nuts.
and he's like still throwing down hard, you know? I love it.
I love that. It's inspirational, dude. It means you can keep going. There's no stopping, right?
Yeah, definitely. No stopping him.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about, some pro life stuff. So you've actually been riding pro for a few years for Kink, but I had a hard time figuring out who you rode for beforehand.
Yeah. So before Kink, I rode for The Set, which is a Melbourne company. And that was run by Mark Urlich. He was the previous owner of Strictly BMX. And he built that brand up with Brad Sims, Corey Bowen, Kim Grosser as like the free pro dudes. Kind of launched the company back in like 2010, I believe. He's gonna probably pull me up on this, but we had a good time. He was my first sponsor and looked after me and traveled me from Perth to Melbourne. You know, it was pretty cool time. But yeah, as time went on, like things changed and you got opportunities with Kink, and J Rowe was interested, and it took some time to like actually jump ship, but once I did, it was for the better for sure. Like I had great times with The Set and Mark, much respect to him. But it's tough starting a business, in BMX and trying to, be a company. It's hard. And he went for it, and I fucking give him so much props for that. And like, it was right there. It was all right there. It's just bad timing. BMX wasn't peaking at that point as far as, the influx of money wasn't coming in, and it was hard to get product. You're always behind the other bigger brands trying to get stuff manufactured. It just didn't work. But shout out to Mark for real. Appreciate you, dude. Good times.
Yeah, this is a topic that I try and talk about a little bit, is the fact that starting a BMX company is way fucking harder than starting a skate company. Like
100%.
All the respect to these skate guys, but realistically, all they need to do is just buy blank decks and put a logo on it, right? Whereas with BMX, you're paying for so much more. And like with a deck, you would expect a deck to break in 3 months if you're skating it, all the time. Whereas with a frame, you need to be able to make a product right from the beginning so that you don't tarnish a reputation you haven't even built yet.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the hardest part. And it's like there's so much room for error when it comes to manufacturing bikes and bike parts versus a skateboard. It's a piece of wood that's got plies, there's levels to it, and it's screen printed or whatever. And like, you can go the catalog route, we've all heard of. You can just get a catalog bike done. It's like, yeah, you can do that, but there's still so much that can go wrong. Like, even though it's a blueprint frame or a fork or a bar, it's that, and it's hard to move around shipping wise. It's expensive. It's $100,000 just to start something. It's tough, but people go for it and they do it, and a lot of people have succeeded, and a lot of people are running, stable BMX companies, and I think that's fucking cool. You need that. You can't just have a monopoly. We need to have small core brands and people going out there and trying to do something new. So I have respect for every brand, 100%, big or small. Got to have it. It's what we do.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I feel like we need to start seeing more small-time brands coming along. There's one out of Japan. I think it's Alive Industries or something.
Alive, yeah.
Yeah, they followed me a while ago, and I was blown away. I was like, there's a whole company in Japan that, like, I've never heard of,
No, definitely. They're sick. They actually sponsor Raoul, like, out in LA. So I've seen their brand kind of come to life through Raoul, and, I think Ben Lewis was with them for a bit too. I don't know if he still is, but you can see it. Like, these people are like doing cool shit and like creating a brand, and and they're going out and finding dudes around the world to sponsor and hook up with frames or whatever, and like market. Like, they give a shit, So it's cool. Yeah, you need it.
Yeah, definitely. I love to see
Yeah.
those smaller brands. There's a Canadian one called oh my god, I can't Alliance. That's what it is.
Alliance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alliance is a bit older, and then they came back a few years ago. Those guys are rad. But
Yeah.
all these companies kind of start out as something small. Like if you look at Cult 10 years ago, they were
Yeah.
pretty small. Like Robbo had just stopped working with Chris at Fit, and then went off and built his
Yeah.
own thing. So
Yeah. Yeah. There's like, yeah, Colt had a good start point with the team.
definitely, yeah,
And that, I think that's what, like, there was a lot of beef and industry stuff going on there. I don't really know much about it, but the dudes that they had a good pro like team, like from the start. And I think that's what matters. You need to have that presence from the start. If you try and like get homegrown dudes and start a company, it's really hard, but it can pay off. I mean, it's shown with other brands, that you can start small and you get like one dude that goes super pro and he's like the A pro dude and he's running your frame and all of a sudden this brand exists. But if you're trying to do it locally, it's hard, but keep doing it because you're going to have locals, you're going to have local shops, you're going to have people that are going to support you. So it's like, don't ever give up for sure. But every brand has its own story, and it's all a gamble at the end of the day. You just got to go for it. And I think yeah, it's sick. I love all brands going for it. Fuck it, big or small. It's the best. It's the way to do it.
yeah. I'm happy that with BMX, there really isn't too many beef between companies. Everybody's kind of all for each other, because at the end of the day, if a
Yeah.
company dies, right, like what we saw with Mutiny this year, it kind of affects the whole community as like,
Yeah.
I don't know, just because when you really think about it, there's less than 50 fucking BMX companies in the world, man. Like, at least
Yeah.
for big major companies, there's less than 50. I would go as far as saying probably less than 30. Like,
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, like Mutiny going out of business or, whatever they wanted to do, whether it was just time, it hits everybody. I mean, it hurt me a little bit because like I grew up watching those videos and, you know, watching those dudes rip and just the image and, you don't want anything to disappear. You want it to always exist, especially brands that you grow up on. And yeah, I think the other thing, like, we should all work together and help each other as a BMX community. All brands should really chip in and help other brands stay alive because it only looks bad if brands disappear for bigger brands, because it looks like we're just dying out or something. It's like, no, like we got to be there for each other. If we can help you manufacture in Taiwan or give you a source of product or whatever it may be, just get a better rate for these people. Do it. Like, all right, if you're a big company, you can't meet the minimums. This brand like Mutiny can't meet the minimums. Throw them into your mix and let them get the minimums. Like shit like that. It should happen. Just to keep it alive. But we've got to work together at some point just to keep the smaller brands going. But I don't know. It's not me. I'm not running the business, but yeah, I would like to see it like that for sure. That's my outlook on it.
definitely. And I think sometimes we need people like yourself who aren't doing, any of the behind the scenes stuff because those dudes get so, they're constantly thinking about how they're going to progress their own company, right? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, they got to stay in business, right? And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we need people like you to jump in there and be like, hey, man, you guys should help these people out. That would be rad.
Yeah, I mean that's a dream world. That's the problem.
Yeah,
That's
there
not
you
reality. That's not business. That's not business. But you can only you can think that way, and as long as you can help the people around you, that's all that matters. You can only do so much. So, but yeah, I mean BMX just needs to come together. So,
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so why don't we talk about, how you got on Kink? Because you had mentioned that
Yep.
when you left the other company there, you had kind of had an opportunity with Kink. So, yeah, let's hear about
Yep.
that.
Yeah, so Jay kind of came at me with an email. It was like random. I'm pretty sure it was an email. And he watched a video that I had put out 2012. Steel Bleeding Black and Blue is the video. And he watched the video part and he was stoked on my riding. So he reached out and offered me a spot on the AM team. And I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to leave the set at that time because Mark had been out there looking out for me and whatnot. And yeah, probably 6 months went by, and I don't know whether I emailed him back saying no or like I'll think about it. I can't remember. But I like reached out to him. I was like, I'm down. Like, let's go. Let's do something. And he got back to me, and yeah, we kind of went for it. And on top of that, I ended up getting a visa for the US through Kink. So they sponsored my visa, and that was my first like opportunity getting out to the US. And yeah, that's kind of where it all started. And yeah, here we are now, still doing it, which is, yeah, shout out to Jay and Kink and Zach and, yeah, Matt, everybody at Kink. Appreciate you guys. But
yeah, it's definitely quite the accomplishment to get recognized by Kink, you know, because Kink has been around for quite a while and they're not going anywhere, man. And the team is incredible, you know. There's people like yourself, Nathan Williams, Travis Hughes, who is on fire these days, man. Yeah, there's a whole list of people who just kill it on there.
Seriously, and big shout out to Casey for turning pro. You're the man.
Dude,
fucking ripping.
That fucking video part was incredible, man. I was mind blown.
The last clip is fucked.
Yeah,
actually fucked. Like I mean, I don't know if he went out to do that or not. I'm sure he did, but like, what the fuck? Why would you even think of doing that? And the fact that he did it so perfect is like unreal. So shout out Casey, you're the man. It was insane,
dude. And here's some crazy behind the scenes knowledge. That motherfucker didn't do it once. He did it twice because fucking I think it was Jeff Z or somebody didn't get the shot of him doing it like for a photo. So he just did it again.
Was that the front flip or the back or the flare backlash?
Oh right. Yes, that was the front flip. The flare black dude, I can't even say it.
And that was Devin Hutchins blew the photo.
Oh man.
I think I remember watching the clip and he's like fucking flash and go. I don't know where I saw it, but yeah, Dev, it happens. It's all good, dude. Everybody goes through it.
Yeah.
Photographer blues.
But, definitely, man.
The flare or the 180 flare backlash is unreal. So
yeah, sorry, I totally forgot that was the banger there. That clip is unreal, dude. That's like, you know, obviously never been done.
It's nuts. Actually nuts. Yeah. But yeah, Kink, the whole team is awesome, and Daryl and Jay, they're the dudes that like really put it together, you know, as far as they built that shit, like that's their baby. So yeah, shout out to those guys and everybody on the team. Everybody gets together perfectly, like without a hitch. So only good times. Like, so yeah, it's one of the most surreal brands to be a part of. Like, yeah, I'm stoked. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. Yeah, and then obviously, you know, you're a rider for Vans, and let me just say right now, I'm a huge fan of Vans. That's all I wear when it comes to shoes. Those are my riding shoes. Those are my, like, I have a pair of their winter, like, high top shoes. I love those. I wear those all the time. Like, I just love everything that Vans does. So to me, Vans is the best company in the game. So how the hell did you manage to get a sponsor with them? Obviously, you know, you're an incredible rider. That has a lot to do with it.
It's a weird one with Vans. So I was at the same video that Jay had seen, Still Bleeding Black and Blue, around that same time. One of my buddies who skates for actually Nike, Harry Clark, he was out in Perth, where I'm from, Perth, and the Vans skate team was out there filming for Propeller, which is their full-length video. And he had the copy of the video, and he was showing them the video for spots, you know, while they were there for the week. And for whatever reason, the team manager said, "Come, tell this dude to come through, like, you know, drink some beers or whatever it was." And we started talking. He's like, "Dude, your part was sick. I'm going to send this to the Vans BMX guys. You're going to send you some shoes, and also for, like, you know, giving us some spots." And turns out the video got sent to Jerry Batters, and then from Jerry it went to Dakota, and then Dakota vouched for me, and Jerry vouched for me and sent me a box, and I was like, what the fuck, like, getting some Vans, you know? And then about 6 months later, Dakota rolled up in my local. He went to Fremantle to film for his first shoe promo. Flew all the way from LA to Perth, which is no joke, 24-hour like flight by the time you get there, and filmed a full promo in 6 days. And he actually let me film a couple of clips in the video. And then from there, it was like history, which is, yeah, super crazy how it all worked out. It's like, yeah, pretty grateful for sure. But yeah, that's how it goes, I guess. Just timing and chance with all that shit.
Yeah, man, Dakota is a legend too. So to have him kind of vouching for you is a big deal.
Yeah, yeah, I was like super shocked. Like I hadn't even met him yet, and he came to my hometown to film a friggin' full Vans. Like it was like colorway, his first colorway, which was like a old school pro. It was like the dark gray with like it had like the shark fin in it. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I think I do.
It was like 7 or 8 years ago now. But yeah, it was insane. Jerry came out, Will Stroud, Justin Cosman. Yeah, it was super sick. I was like, oh, this is like BMX. Like this is fucking high level shit. Like they had the whole crew out, and I think Ben from BMX Action was actually out there too. So it was a while ago now. BMX Action was a thing, and Dak got a cover on that trip for that mag. Yeah, it was a young kid seeing it for the first time, seeing the Americans do it. It was cool.
Definitely, man. I feel like you must have fallen in love with their style and the way that they kind of do everything, right? Because you actually took off to America only a few years later, was it not?
Yeah, it was probably like a year later. It was pretty quick. So it was like the Kink thing came about, Vans, and then with that Kink contract, or the AM contract, it came with the US visa, and then I was out there, within the next year. And then spent, the next 3 years kind of figuring out what the hell I'm doing over there, because it's not as easy as you think. And yeah, I almost pretty much gave up on it because I was working full time before that as a plumber and gas fitter, and I had a pretty good job. And you can have a good job, but you're not happy and you're working. And I didn't really have a life outside of it other than riding my bike on the weekends. So that opportunity to leave was awesome. But once I got out there, I realized how hard it was. And like LA and California in general is just expensive. It's hard. It gives us no family out there. It's just a lot of shit. And I nearly gave up, but stuck in there, kept it going. So it's been like 7 or 8 years since I've been out there in California now. But
yeah, I feel like, especially with the last year, the way that things have been in the States, it's got to be so difficult, right? And like, I love that the first thing that you mentioned about LA is that like it's expensive, because holy fuck, dude. Like I live about an hour from Toronto, and I think Toronto is in the top 10 like most expensive cities in the world to live in. But my rent is like astronomically cheaper than what you would find in LA, mind blown that there's a bunch of BMX dudes that live there. Like how,
It's tough for sure. Like a lot of the dudes, a lot of the crew is in Long Beach for the most part, in San Diego, and like there's Costa Mesa too, and then there's a small group in LA. LA is not really popping that much as far as a BMX scene. At one point there was, when the block was there with Tony Nair and Aaron Brenner, but since then it's kind of it's fizzled away. It's Ty Morrow's still out there, Andrew Casaneda. Tony Nair just left 6 months ago. And then there's, the new kids that are out there. But as far as like to have your own place, it's fucking expensive. If you want to share a room in like a 4-bedroom place, it's like, you can probably pay $600 a month if you're lucky, 700, 800. But like if you want your like, basic studio, it's like $1,300, like, and it's shit. Like there's nothing really going for it. You don't have parking, it's like, it's tough, like, but you make it work and you just go for it. And like, you've just got to adapt out there. And there's just so many bills out there. That's what it is. It's just the living cost is fucked.
Yeah, definitely. Everything is like, costs way more, right?
It's just everything. It's like, for instance, like I'm paying $250 a month just on tickets on my car, like just getting tickets, and that shit's just draining, in general. So it's like LA is it's just a drain. It just drains you, and after a while, you want to get out for a bit. That's why I'm here, pretty much. I'm like, I need to get out. Like I can't stay there any longer. And San Diego seems a bit more chill. Maybe that's the place, but yeah, right now LA's tough.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like you've probably got an in with Dennis. You could probably go rip his ramps once in a while, you know?
Yeah, fuck. I'll leave that to him. Those ramps are fucked. He's insane. Those
Yeah,
those things are big, dude. Like he's on his own level with that shit. He's unreal. But yeah,
yeah,
no,
definitely, dude.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man.
I mean, California, dude. It's beautiful weather. That's what you're paying for. So
Yeah, so for anybody that's listening and doesn't know, right now you are currently in Sweden, are you not?
yeah, I'm in Stockholm right now. Yeah, I'm out here. Right now, I'm like going through like a visa renewal.
Yeah.
So that means I have to leave the country. And also, my girlfriend lives out here. She just moved back here 5 months ago. She was in LA for 5 years, and now we're together again after 5 months, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, it's different. It's cold as hell out here. It's what is it, 30 degrees Fahrenheit? It's -1, -2
Yeah.
Celsius, and there's a lot of snow on the floor. So it's probably where you're at right now is probably the same, right? Where are you? Toronto?
Yeah, Toronto area. So I think it's about -6 outside right now. And this is actually like the first
Yeah.
time in, I think, almost a year that I've had like not a curtain in my window and then like crazy lights on. I've got it all lit up properly today, which is interesting. But I can literally look outside and just see all the snow and whatnot.
Oh shit, yeah. There's snow everywhere. But I mean, I've never had to deal with snow in my whole life. Like being from Perth, it's just sand and beaches. Gets cold in the winter time. It's just maybe some ice on the windshield, but that's about it. But yeah, being here, it's kind of crazy. Like saw snow kind of fall from the sky for the first time today, so kind of crazy.
Definitely, right? And then when you leave Australia to go and live in Los Angeles, it's not like, the weather really doesn't change that much, I bet.
No, no, that was like it's almost the same climate. It's like a Mediterranean climate. So Perth and LA are very similar. The perfect climate or sister climate is Tijuana for Perth. So Perth and Tijuana are actually considered sister climates, which is Mediterranean. So very close. It's close enough for me.
Yeah, there
But
you go. Oh
yeah.
man. So what's your hometown like for spots? Because whenever I see, these Australian riders that are coming out these days, obviously yourself, Lewis Mills, Callan, the
Oh
crazy
yeah.
cult rider,
Yeah.
Jason Watts, any of these guys, you guys all rip and you guys are all on a different level. It's funny to see the top like 1% of BMX, the top 1% of the people who are doing the best right now. And like, a quarter of them are from Australia, which is wild.
There's a lot of Australians coming up right now. It's insane.
Yeah,
Insane.
I love
Yeah.
it, man.
And that comes down to having, like you said, spots like good spots, good skate park facilities, like some of the best in the world, and just being like accepted at the parks too. There's no weird beefs with skate. It's just go in session and have a good time. And then the weather's good, so it's like, and we're also very active people. Like in general, Australians are just very active. When we go out and ride, it's like we ride for hours and hours and hours and hours. Like so, these dudes that are coming out of the Australian woodwalks right now, like the young kids or even the older generation, which you didn't know about. Obviously, social media is a big thing. You're starting to see these dudes that are like they've been filming video parts for a decade, but now you're finally seeing him. Like Callan Stibbons, like that motherfucker is bad as hell, like insane dude. And we've been riding for years, prior to seeing the shit that you've just seen, and Lewis Mills, new generation coming up, Boyd, also Jackman, all these dudes are like, you can see like this, the skate parks and the plazas that are being built are creating a new style of like BMX, and these kids are the first forefront of it. So Australia's catering for it heavy, which is cool. So big shout out to all those guys. Alex Heim, insane as well. Like there's a lot of good dudes out there, man. It's cool to see Jason. Yeah, the list goes on. Beachy. I don't know if you know much about Beachy, but
No, I do
he's
not.
insane. You have to look into that.
Yeah, I
He's a
definitely will.
savage.
Another one, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Logan Martin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Logan is like the fucking contest guy. You know, he is
Yeah.
constantly out there training. It's not street riding by any means, but that fucking dude is
Yeah.
on top of the game when it comes to contest riding.
Oh yeah. He's the sort of dude that trains. Like, I've heard that he wakes up at 7. You know, he's at the gym at 7 and he's working out, and then he goes and rides for 4 hours, and then he goes back to the gym and then rides again. Like, and it's daily basis. Like, the dude's just a beast. I've seen him ride in person one time at ACT, and it's fucking mind blowing, dude. He's insane. Like, how dialed he is, and how, like, I don't know, like, a lot of people see him in a certain light, you know, back like 5 years ago. And like, to see him like now, it's like you see him at the park or at ACT, and like everybody's got love for him. Like, doesn't matter what you're doing, what sticker you have on your head, or what contest you went to. Like, if you're ripping, dude, you're ripping. Like, and he put on a show. Like, he didn't put on a show. He was just like, he did it for himself that day. And I watched that and I was like, much respect. Like, you fucking earned it, dude. You're nuts. Like, you know how to fucking train and work for something, and you know, you did it in your own way. Like, it's pretty cool. Yeah. He's gnarly, man. If you ever watch him ride, you'll realize it's like fucked.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I'm lucky enough that I'm about an hour from Joyride 150. And obviously, you know, I feel like everybody that rides BMX knows of Joyride 150.
Yeah.
Especially.
Shout out to Mike Gray, dude. Mike Gray ripping that thing.
Mike's the homie, man. We went and filmed some street stuff a couple months ago for his new dig part. And Vans
He's a
part.
man.
Yeah.
Yep. He's a fucking dude. He's a little entrepreneur too, man. Shout out to his company, Space Brace, for real.
Dude,
he's doing well.
Space Brace has fucking taken off. I don't know if it's just around here, but holy fuck, dude. I go to the park and everybody's got them on. I have them, you know, my ankles are shit. Like, I love it, man.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. He's a brilliant dude. Mike is honestly like a genius.
Yeah.
But what I was going to mention is that Joyride has produced so many insane top of the line level riders in the last 10, 11 years that it's been open. You know, you look at Drew Bezanson and, you know, even these local kids, like these local dudes there think that like, oh, you know, a double flare every day is a normal thing to do. That's like, yep, that's just my normal run. Like, what? It's so wild.
Yeah, that's it. That's the progression. And like, as soon as you put a park in, or a new park, or, you know, a few new parks into an area, these kids come out and they rip. It's you just gotta the community has to provide it, or, you know, even the kids with backyard ramps. Like, think of before we had skate parks at our, like, you know, disposal. It's like you had like Sean Ricani and, you know, backyard ramps, like, fucking got so good so quick, you know. And then, you know, I'm pretty sure Garrett had a backyard ramp too.
Yeah,
it's like, it just proves like you having that accessibility is going to, like, you create bike control and just like insane ability. So yeah, now it's like you don't have to have a backyard ramp. We have ramps and we have parks everywhere, you know, especially in Oz and, you know, California as well. It's insane. There's a new skate park popping up every month in a new city. So yeah, it's good. It's good for the communities, and it helps everybody. It gives people something to do, you know.
Definitely, man. And something I want to mention is, you know, everybody knows about Garrett. And if you want to know why Garrett is so fucking good, go and look at the video of him riding his backyard ramp. There's a video, I think it's through Ally Sports, and they do like Mike Spinner's backyard, they do Dennis's yard, and then they do Garrett's. And Garrett's yard is so fucking like janky and sketchy and crazy looking. Like, it honestly, no offense, but it looked like such a shithole. But that fucking dude got so good because those ramps were like the perfect thing for him, you know?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, the worse the ramps are, the better you're going to be as a rider too, because you got to know where those holes are. You know, you got to know how to ride the ramp. The smoother and better it is, you know, you can't transition to the streets or, you know, different obstacles as much. But, you know, Dennis, same thing, dude. Backyard ramp, fucking insane. Like, and he still has it to this day, like an amazing one at his parents' house, and rips it. And it's cool to see that he's kept that tradition alive, you know.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
definitely. Another great backyard ramp, since we're on the topic, is Pat Casey's. And the funny thing
Oh
about,
yeah, it's insane.
dude, the funny thing about the Dream Yard is that my buddy Jordan, owner of Ride and Ramp Co., actually went out and built, all the new additions and whatnot a few years back before it was,
Yeah,
I think it was just a spine mini before, and he went in and built that huge wall and built a couple quarters and whatnot. It's
yeah,
insane, That place
yeah.
looks,
That's a
yeah.
sick backyard, dude. And like, yeah, his like little son and shit just ripping around. Like, I don't know if you watch his Instagram, but like that kid's fucking nuts. Like trying all these crazy tricks. Like, you can see he's like taking his feet off and like jumping the doubles and like, I don't know. He's just, yeah, it seems like a pretty cool place to grow up as a kid as well. Like, Pat, you're doing it right, mate. Good stuff.
Dude, and the thing I love about his son Reed is the fact that Pat just lets him do this shit,
Yeah.
He'd like,
Yeah.
a lot of parents would be like, no, you can't ride a dirt bike because you're 3. And Pat's like, fucking full send, man. Pull the
Yeah,
throttle back
go
and
for
go. Yeah.
Yeah. He'll be filming him for like, I don't know, like probably like an hour on Instagram, and you're just like watching him develop and like slowly like it turns into a crash or something, and you're just like, oh my God, Pat, why are you letting him do that? But you're like, fuck it, he's gonna get good and he's gonna learn, and that's all that matters. Like, better to learn young than later. So
Dude,
definitely
my
sick.
honest opinion is that if Reed sticks with it and he stays like riding BMX, that dude is going to be unfucking real. He will be
Yeah,
way
it's gonna be
better.
insane.
Dude, he'll be way better than Pat in like a very short time, I love Pat. He's a great rider.
Yeah.
But dude, that kid is unreal.
If you start young enough, man, you got, the young will, become the best at, the younger you start, the better you're going to be, like that's the reality of it. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe they'll be in the same contest together. Pat might still have another good 10 years in him, I reckon.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Imagine that father and son contest at the same contest.
I hope it
Maybe that'll
happens,
happen.
man. That'd be really cool, actually. I'd be
I
really
don't think
stoked
it
to see
has
that.
happened in a pro contest. It hasn't, has it?
I don't think so. No. If anything, it would be like an amateur contest, right? But not a pro contest, like a full out sponsored, monster contest.
I mean, the way with the vert riders are going these days, they're in their 50s or almost, like DMC or like, that age group. Like they could have like a son that's 20, they're 45. That shit could happen one day.
Let's hope it does, man. That would be unreal.
That would be sick. That'd be good for ESPN. X Games would be stoked for the story.
Oh my God. Yeah,
I'd
dude.
love that one.
Yeah. Since, you mentioned DMC there, we had Rick Thorne on last week and we talked about DMC and how, he kind of grew up with him. And Rick was even saying that, when they were kids, he knew that Dennis would become, top 1% in BMX one day.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I could only imagine. I've seen some of the footage of these guys growing up. I mean, Rick showed me some stuff and I've seen Dennis post a bunch. But it's interesting. You can see, even though that the progression of BMX isn't the same as now, like what they were doing then, you could tell they were pro bike riders. It was just like they're spinning around like these bikes that weigh so much. Like, I don't know. It's pretty cool. Like you can tell a bike rider that's gonna be a pro for
Definitely,
sure. No
yeah.
matter what age or like era or whatever. It's you got it. Which is, yeah, Rick's the man. I haven't seen him for a little bit, but we used to ride pools together. What's up, Rick?
Yeah,
I don't know
man.
where he's been.
My goal is to go out and ride a pool with him one day. I would love to do that.
Just get on a flight to California, dude.
Yeah.
Plenty of them.
Yeah, he'd be down.
Many. Yeah, just go hit some ones in Hollywood. Be the best time ever. You'll love it.
Fuck yeah. Alrighty, so as everybody knows on this show, I'm a huge fan of X Games Real BMX Street. It's my favorite contest every year because it gives back to the filmers that I feel like always get overlooked, right? This contest is judged 50-50 on the riding and on the filming and editing, right? So you ended up actually getting to be a judge this year, which is quite the honor. You are then looked at as like, you have to really take a lot of responsibility in this because, you're judging 6 of the best with the filmers
yeah.
and whatnot. And every part's going to be incredible. Like, this year, I think they had you, Brian Chikinski, and Sean Burns as the judges. And then for the riders, it was Lewis Mills. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm forgetting this. Lewis Mills, Garrett Reynolds, Simone, Nathan
Eric.
Williams.
Yeah,
and then
Eric
Elstrand and Julian Molina. And was there anybody else? I feel so bad. I hope I got everybody.
No, that was a 6.
Yeah.
And there was I think that was it. That's a 6. Yeah, for sure. That was hard to judge, man. Honestly, it was writing a lot of notes and watching those videos over and over again. But I mean, it's hard to judge a BMX video part because it's just not what I do. I don't judge people's video parts to another video part. I'll judge it in itself, what I think is cool or whatnot. But to judge it to another part, it doesn't make sense to me. It's like it's foreign as hell because it's everybody's individual identity and the way that they ride and their style and everything. So to be out, to like sit and talk in front of a camera, like. I'm just gonna like let everybody know, like, I don't want to judge your parts. I never wanted to. I didn't want to place it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everybody killed it. Everybody's doing their own thing. But when it comes to a contest and X Games giving us the opportunity to judge that and like create a contest, we got to judge you guys. Sorry, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But it was hard. But you break it down with the video and just the riding and the vibe and the style, like everything, music. Garrett came out on that one, and Nathan was, damn, right there.
Unreal, man.
Fucking insane. Those two, and Eric, amazing. Riding and creativity and bringing a whole new light to BMX. Lewis, Simone, and most inspirational part, Julian, like unreal. Like that dude is pushing everything. Like he's going beyond. So big shout out to all those guys, everybody. On to the next year. Let's see who's up next. It's gonna be sick.
Definitely, man. So what I was going to say is the fact that, like you said, when you break it down, you have to judge who went the hardest, right? And who like put their heart and soul into this project. And, as a rider and a filmer, you're the perfect judge for this because you can really see, like, I guess you understand what it's like to do the trick, but then you also understand, what it's like to film it and how much they went through to be able to get that shot and whatnot. And, you can judge whether it was actually a good shot or not, which is a big thing. I think that we really need people that have an eye for filming as well.
No, for sure. Yeah, it's nice to be able to know both sides for sure. And like, when you're judging that stuff, it's really hard because you shouldn't be judging somebody for their fucking hard work. But when it comes down to, just a shot or a look, without me being at the spot present, it's really hard to judge that, because I don't get an alternative angle or a look to be like, this is a perfect angle and this isn't the right angle. But I think it's not so much angles, but it's like the videographer like creating a feel or a moment, whether it's with music or just like there's so many variables that like hit. And I think it's creating a moment and a vibe and like a story within a 90-second piece, which is fucking hard. So those guys who are going for that is it's unreal. To make it feel like a video part in 90 seconds is what you're going for. And if you can do that, that's the key to this video series, I think, is, making it feel like you watched a 5-minute part. You just tricked the audience. That's the hardest part right there. So
definitely,
I could go on and on about this one, but I love and hate it because I don't want to judge, but like, this is what I do. Like, this is my shit. It's video parts and it's filming video parts. So it's cool.
Honestly one of my favorite contests. I think that it's the perfect thing for BMX, and I wish that we could see like different approaches to it as well, but I wanted to mention this, but Julian, MVP of this year, in my opinion. That dude went so hard. And what I love is that Julian didn't go in with the thought of, oh, you know, I'm going to make a part that's passable, that'll hold up to these guys just barely. He went to fucking win. And I love that shit, man.
He went in, dude. Dude, that war ride, like, that he tried, I guess, like, is nuts. It's like a 15 stair, dude. Like, he fucking sent that, like, wow.
Do you know what's even crazier about that wall? Sorry to interrupt. He actually pulled that a few years ago, or like a year ago, and then they went back to film it so that Daryl could get it and put it in there, and then he had that crash.
Fuck, what a beast.
Yeah, so it's like, you've already proven to yourself that you can do it. There's no reason to go back and put yourself through something like that, and he still went back and fucking tried it. Yeah,
that's a real one right there. Yeah. You don't get those people very often. So, shout out to Julian for real.
Yeah, beast. Man, definitely. He you know, if anybody doesn't know who Julian Milena is, you've been living under a rock in 2020, because he has popped off and he has 100% deserved it, you know? This kid, you know, he had a really bad accident years ago that left him with one leg, and he still goes just as hard as everybody else. And he also, you know, like a lot of people agree, had the cleanest tail whip of BMX in 2020. Like,
so sick.
Yeah.
So sick. I think everybody needs to just like get a photo framed of that whip. Just like everybody needs that. That's like going to be a staple. That was like one of the sickest whips for sure. He's a fucking beast.
Yeah, he's unreal, man. But yeah, I've got one more thing I wanted to mention about X Games Real BMX Street. So, you know, something that comes to mind that was really different about this year, and, you know, wasn't in the past, and it's not actually about coronavirus or anything. This is because Lewis and Garrett had the same ender. So this is really interesting, right? How do you judge this? Because Garrett did it down this huge 4-block, right? It's a you know, a full cab whip. He does it down a huge 4-block, but then Lewis does it down a 3-stair that's super small. So do you give Garrett, you know, the win because he, you know, pulled it on this huge set and it's so gnarly, or do you give it to Lewis because he was he managed to do it in such a small amount of time and pulled it so clean?
I can see both sides to that now, for sure, which I didn't really think about that smaller aspect.
Yeah.
But I think Lewis is flying a bit too close to the master. So I think after that, I think he's gonna blossom. He's gonna go into his own world. I think that needed to happen. And Lewis is his own person, but that just was, that's the boss. The boss is doing that move, and he put it down on a big set. It was a 3-block, and Lewis did it on the 3-stair. So Lewis has got plenty of years in him. He's going to figure out he's going to come swinging, dude. Like after that, he knows he's like, I got to go further.
Yeah,
like further. I can't think about what Garrett's about to do. I got to go past that.
You gotta one up it, which good luck. Exactly. It's Garrett.
And like Garrett has owned this shit for, we know, the last decade. But if anybody's going to push it to the next level, Lewis could be that guy. And I'm stoked that he's a part of Garrett's brand to do so. You know, those guys are doing cool shit, and Lewis is that guy. You know, he's got the energy, and he's gonna progress BMX. So. Yeah, fucking crazy. It's the same ender though. Well, it happens. Yeah. NBD too. NBD ender.
Yeah, I kind of wonder who pulled it first, right? It'd be funny to talk to both filmers and figure out, you know, all right, go back and figure out what day it was filmed on. We gotta give credit for that.
I know, right? You'd think that, but I can already tell you that Garrett had probably already filmed it multiple times, probably 2-3 years before. On something that he probably didn't want to do it on, but he did it, maybe off a loading dock or something. And then he would have gone to the block set, because Garrett works like that. I think he's a trainer. He'll figure it out. He'll let it sit for 2 or 3 years and find the perfect spot for it, and it'd blow everybody's minds. And you're like, fuck. But Garrett would have done it first. I think Garrett would have done it 3 years ago, honestly. which is insane.
Yeah, crazy to think about. I'm like, dude, who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe he did it like 7 years ago when he was still on a cassette. Like,
Yeah.
nobody
No, for
knows.
real.
Yeah.
The only person who knows is Tony Ennis. You need to get Tony Ennis on this shit because Tony will unleash some shit, man. He's been there. He's been there with the dudes. He knows everything.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I would love to get
yeah.
Tony on here because it would be insane to hear about some of the stuff with filming Garrett, right? Like, it's
Man,
funny how that
yeah.
team is the perfect team, right? Like, they work so well together.
Yeah, perfectly executed team right there. You know, Garrett and Tony, you know, creating that like image and style, and they do a great job. And Tony's like art direction with the videos and just everything he does with the brand is just on point. It's super fucking cool. Like it's what all brands want to be.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
And yeah, shout out to those guys. They're fucking ripping. Love those guys.
Fuck yeah, man. So, you know, why don't we get some dream teams here? Who would you want as a dream team for X Games Real BMX Street? Can you think of anybody?
Yeah, Calvin Stibbard's number one draft pick right there. Just because he can film a 90-second part. That ain't shit for him.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be nuts. Other than that, like kind of a Hoda for sure.
Oh
Hoda.
my god, dude, that would be insane.
Give me the Hoda. I want to see some of that crazy shit. I mean, he's a fucking beast. Ty Morrow, 100%. Well overdue. Hasn't even had an opportunity yet. It's just there's so many good dudes, but you know, maybe next year.
Yeah, you can only pick 6,
it's
right?
hard. But now with the pandemic, you got to stick with, you know, local US guys, right? Technically, but I don't know how it's going to go because you can't travel, you know, to get behind the scenes. Like we were kind of talking about that. It's just a weird year, so it's got to be US guys. But I think they've chosen the dudes already. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, Ty, Callan, Hoda. Who else is kind of out in that zone? Hasn't fucking had an opportunity. I'm like thinking of dudes have already had their opportunity or already been in the show. But
can you think of any filmers by chance?
Filmers?
Yeah, it's a little difficult because a lot of them, you know, there's really only like 10 big BMX filmers.
I would say like all the filmers have almost been in it.
Yeah.
If I was to bring one filmer back though, it'd be Miles Rogish.
Yeah, that's a dude.
Like if I was to be like, yeah, we'll get like a filmer back, like it'd be Miles and it'd be like Skirbo for sure. Like, obviously Navaz was in the first one, but like another Navaz video would be sick.
Was Tony Maloof in any of these? I don't think he was.
No, he hasn't. No, Tony would be good too. For sure. And there's still a fucking lot of dudes out there that, you know, could be a part of this video series. But, you know, at the same time, there's a lot of great people out there and there's 6 spots to be filled every year. So you've got to be current, available, and ready to go. That's all that matters.
Yeah, man, definitely. Moving on from that, you know, let's talk about filming. So when did you kind of get started with filming? Because you've been doing it for quite a while. Yeah,
I've been probably like when I was like 17 or something. I got a VX, you know, 2100, and that's where it started. Troy Charlesworth, he's like from Sydney originally, but he lives in Brisbane now. He came out to film a DVD called Epic Invasion, and his company was his film company was called Underground Visuals. And he came out and he was filming a full part with my buddy Jamie Mowry, who was on Bone Death. I don't know if you remember Jamie from back in the day, but he was with that crew, Metal Bikes, Alex Liv, all those guys.
Nice.
So Alex Liv was coming out now filming. I was at 17 or something. Troy just asked me if I wanted to film some clips. Seen a VX for the first time. I was like, fuck, this is cool. Let's film. Like, let's go get some clips. And once he left, I ended up like purchasing a VX to keep it going. And it kind of kept going from there and filming the dudes. And you know, we ended up making a DVD in 2010. It came out, and that was called Let It Bleed. I had full sections of like Jay Wilson, Jamie Murray.
Nice.
Who else was in there? Daniel Jamison. There was like just like a Perth crew, like, you know, a big mix. Tim Cawthorne, another OG. And yeah, it just started like that. I've always had a bag on the camera. It just never ended. You kind of have to be available. You got to bring someone to the table. You can't just ride. You've got to either shoot photos, film an Instagram clip for somebody, or film a real line, or get a camera out. Like, you've got to bring something to the table. Because, you know, riding's fun and all, but you should help out other people too, because they want to be able to ride and see themselves ride. You know, at the end of the day, have an archive or a video part that you can look back on, you know, for years to come. So that's one word of advice. Don't bring anything. Bring something to the table every time you're out, whether it's a camera, you know, whatever. Like, point and shoot. Just archive it. It's your friends. It's a cool time. So, yeah, document it.
And here's my advice for people out there that, you know, have filmers. Get that guy a six-pack once in a while, man.
100%. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that honestly, I've been pretty blessed. A lot of good beverages have come my way for, you know, long fish lines or whatever. So around the right people, those beers come through for sure.
Fuck yeah, man. You need them. I'm like, anytime that I got a good tripod shot going for a couple, you know, hours trying to film something, got to have a tall can with me.
Oh, dude, yeah, you need it. You definitely need it, especially when you find yourself sitting on the side of the road for a day, just filming.
Oh my God, yeah, dude. So why don't we talk about what you're currently using to film? Because I know that you switched from using kind of a bigger camcorder setup, you know, kind of like a HVX or any of those big Panasonic cameras. You switched to a smaller DSLR style camera, right?
Yeah, I switched to a GH5S.
Nice.
So it's a Panasonic, and that's like, DSLR mirrorless camera, and I use the Canon glass, so with the Metabones adapter, and a lot of it's now gimbal for fisheye stuff. I don't use handheld as much, but the video from Philadelphia, which is the next DAC video that's coming out for Vans, was actually all handheld. So it was the first time I've done all handheld since the transition from the HVX and the Whaler. But we did that because we want to keep it raw, and also Philadelphia, just keep it moving so you're not like setting up forever in the streets.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, it's like the gimbal. But I work the gimbal like it's a handheld. It's just smoother. I can get just as close and maneuver it as fast as I want. But yeah, it's all just skate filming. As long as you can skate film, you can make the gimbal look, you know, real nice. And everything else is pretty much handheld, you know, with the image stabilized glass and whatnot. And then a lot of Super 8 film work, which I use, which is nice. It's just a nice way to like make this cinematic look, have a break, and have something a bit more raw in the middle. So yeah, I like that dynamic. It's pretty simple. It's, you know, it's pretty staple in the industry too, you know, but yeah, you just got to work with what you got. So yeah,
I know there's a lot of hate towards using a gimbal. You know, some people aren't a fan of it, but for me, man, I love it. I think it's great. Like, I don't have one, but I'm always about smooth shots, man. Like, I love to see a nice smooth shot. Like, it's, you know, I get it. It's raw skateboarding and BMX to have kind of that shaky feel to it. And, you know, I have a top handle on my camera that I'm using right now to record this with. Like, it's
no, exactly.
Yeah. The one I have is actually pretty good, so I'm stoked on it.
Yeah, there you go. It's probably an Amazon purchase, right? Prime 2-day delivery.
It is. It's actually a small rig.
A small rig. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah, it's.
I've been looking after my bag's full of small rig. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, they're great, man. The one that I have has a top button on it, so it's like you don't have to like, you know, reach down, hit the record, and then jump back into filming. So I love it. It's great.
Best.
Yeah,
no, but shout out to Small Rig though, for real. They got everything, like everything.
Dude, if you are a camera guy and you're shooting with, you know, mirrorless cameras, I shoot with a Sony. But yeah, if you shoot, you know, mirrorless small DSLR cameras, anything like that, go and look at Small Rig. Those dudes have fucking everything, like literally anything you can imagine. And if you can't get it, just get someone to design it and they'll fucking make it. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, just shoot them an email and they'll make it. It'll be on Amazon the next day.
Yeah, easily.
They're insane. No, they're insane. But yeah, going back to the gimbal stuff, people hate it, whatever. Some people don't, some people do. But I think shooting with a gimbal is probably 5 times harder than handheld. So that being said, you can talk as much shit as you want, but it's harder. So
it definitely is. There's so much more.
I prefer it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's the looks one thing, but like also like you have to cater or understand. Like I've been filming for 15 years, dude. Like,
yeah,
I'm bored. I want to do something different. I want to progress my filming. I want it to be a challenge. So if people do talk shit on it, that's what I have to say about that. It's like, I'm not going to get stuck in one rut for my whole life. I want to, do different stuff. So, and it is a challenge. It's harder. So go out and try it. If you mock it, you got to try it first, and then tell me different. So that's my take on the gimbal.
I would definitely get one, to be honest with you. Like, I don't see a reason not to. Like, the only reason that I didn't have one beforehand is that I was primarily using an HVX, which, I mean, good luck getting a gimbal for that thing. The thing weighs 10 pounds. Yeah. Like, you need something small.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And like the HVX was designed front to back weight.
Yeah.
So you had less bobble left and right, whereas the DSLR is shaped, so that bobble is just apparent. It's super. That's why the gimbal helps with that. But, the HVX with the Welo, dream team. If we could have that with 4K, let's go. But we don't. And, unfortunately, until then, we're just going to stick with the DSLRs with the gimbals and the 8 to 15 mil fish with the Metabones adapter.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah.
Do you still have your HPX with the fisheye?
No, I don't. I actually end up selling it to a snowboarder. Actually,
nice. Dude, that's
Norway,
the perfect snowboarding camera. Oh my God.
Yeah. No, he was super stoked, and yeah, I had to reassure him that it was legit and no scratches, all that, and yeah, because that market's
oh my God,
it's expensive. It was like $2,500 for this kid to get this lens, just the lens.
Yeah,
because the value of the lens with the rails is still, you paid $3,000 for it. It's $2,500 still after 6 years of use, and I didn't scratch it once. So I got my money's out of it for sure. But yeah, this kid was stressing. He thought I was ripping him off or something, but we got that to him safe and sound. He sent me some videos after, and I was stoked. So.
Fuck yeah, man. Yeah, that lens, dude. When I got my HVX, I set a goal for myself to get that lens. And guess what? I've had that camera for 6 years. I still don't have that fucking lens.
Fuck, dude. It's hard.
I want it.
You've got to just bite it.
Yeah, I want it, but I also look at it as like $2,500, man. Like, I can shoot fucking fisheye shit with my other camera. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
But once you have it, it's pretty cool. I think there's no way I did it in a sober mindset, that order from Century Optics. No fucking chance, dude. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was like I'm fucking wasted. I need this, but I don't need this. This is stupid, and I just hit the button.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, it was probably 6 or 7 years ago, and I'm pretty sure I got it. I don't know if I got it directly from Schneider Optics or whatever it is, whatever Century is. Pretty sure I got it from Amazon, dude. And that was before Amazon was popping.
Yeah.
Where it's I should have put money in the fucking stock market, Amazon.
Definitely.
Because, we were using that shit for so long, dude. Didn't even think about it. Now look at it.
Yeah, fucking wild, insane. Man. Yeah, that dude's got so much fucking money. He can build a fucking castle with only his money. He can just stack it.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah, so we missed that boat, but yeah.
What do you do? I mean, it's the same thing as everybody else with Bitcoin, right? If only I would have invested fucking 8 years ago. Sorry about her, man.
Dude, even freaking, what is it, March, when the pandemic hit, Bitcoin was at $5,000.
I know, now it's 40 grand.
Insane. It's insane how how quickly it went up to, it was almost overnight. It was like a week. It went from whatever it was, like 15 to 35, or hit 30, and then it was like, bang, now we're at 40. But oh well, don't worry about that. We missed that one too.
Yeah, right.
On to the next.
It's a little difficult to want to gamble your money on the stock market and Bitcoin, right? Like,
Yeah, right now I think it's a weird one, because what I've kind of figured is the market's overloaded because everybody's lost their jobs and they're trying to figure out ways to make money.
yeah,
So just investing their money online or like onto stocks, and I think it's just flooded it. So there's going to be a crash for sure. So anybody who has money in the stock market, just be wary. If you're a new investor, just be careful. It's not worth losing, your hard-earned money. This pandemic's pushing us into certain corners right now. So
yeah, it's a little wild to think about all the shit that's going on, right? Like, even with you, you've been in Sweden for a couple days, but I would assume that you've been in quarantine, right? Or how does that work?
Quarantine here.
Really?
No, there's no quarantine here. I was out riding before.
Holy shit.
With the boys.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, but I didn't sign any paperwork or, going through anything through customs or immigration. Just like a normal day, man. Obviously, the pandemic is apparent. They don't wear masks here. The bars are open till 8. Restaurants are open. They do have a 6-foot rule, but I think they prefer the 3-meter rule that they had before that.
Yeah.
Stay further and further away from each other. They've gotten too close now. But yeah, it's a whole other world over here. They went for a different direction. Herd immunity, I guess that's what they call it. Kind of get it and then see what happens.
Yeah, interesting. So, it honestly looks like it's kind of working there, because here in Canada, I've been in lockdown for about 30 days now, and we're staying in it until, the middle of February. Potentially it might go longer, right? Like, people in Toronto, because I'm only an hour from Toronto, but if you are in Toronto, you've been in lockdown since American Thanksgiving.
Fuck. Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just weird. It's like you can do these 2-week lockdowns, but like, is it really going to help? Are we all going to do the 2-week lockdown? No. And it's going to be, the minority running for the majority. And you're going to go back and do another 2-week lockdown. And then what does that do? I don't know. It's not really going to help for the bigger picture. It's like, just get on with it, wait for these vaccines to hit, and it's going to constantly change. It's not just going to go away. We're in it forever. Like, this ain't going to go anywhere.
No, this is a new thing that'll stick around, And I think that like, the thing with the lockdowns, I kind of get it, but I don't at the same time. Like, in reality, if you're trying to get a huge number of this to kind of go away and dissipate, you really need to put everybody into a lockdown to the point on where you can't leave your fucking house. Like, in Spain, they had something crazy like that, right? And you just have food delivered. That's the only way that you can do it. These people have to be but dude, that's so difficult to do. Like, at least here, there's no way that would happen.
Yeah, it's hard to orchestrate the whole world to stay inside. So
absolutely,
without
man.
without that, that 2-week disconnect is just never going to happen. I don't know. I mean, they've tried it. It definitely it flattens the curve, as they say. Like, the media hypes it up to whatever it may be. They just create scenarios in our heads to just fuck with us the whole time. I feel like they've just been fucking with us for ages, but it's real. It's there. But at the same time, I don't know. The numbers don't add up to me. I don't think it's a high enough number for me to think that the world should shut down completely.
No, but fair enough, man. I think
that's each to their own. So
yeah. I definitely,
crazy.
I agree. It's definitely real. Like, it's there. It's apparent. It's very real. And I wish that
100%.
We could, get past this, but it's going to take a while. This isn't something that's going to be, like, here in Canada, we've been mask mandatory for everything since I think June, pretty much. And it's not going anywhere, man. We're going to be wearing masks for the next 5 years, in my opinion. Like, definitely.
100%.
Yeah.
It ain't going away. And that's the thing is, how much can we stay inside and how much can we avoid real life or just live our lives? There's a fine line. So you got to respect it, but also being youthful, you should be able to go out and do your things, you know. And
Yeah.
if you're vulnerable, you have health issues and you're older, you know, you got to stay inside, and we have to stay away from those people, you know. And, you know, for me personally, my family is away. My parents, I'm not around elderly. I'm not around people with health issues. And if I was, I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't go out, you know, in a certain light. But it's like, you have to be able to like find the balance here, because
Definitely.
people are, you know, getting depressed, you know, people are getting over it. People are getting mad. There's a lot at stake for a lot of people. It's just,
Why don't we move on to your video parts? So the first thing that I want to mention is that your video parts and the videos that you've put online over the years, you know, have been incredible. They're all so good, and your riding is just so stylish, but also you go so big and so hard on everything, you know, and I love that. You've kind of got this perfect all-around style where I can see you, you know, doing a huge, steep, locked tooth hanger down a rail, and then the next clip will be you, you know, doing kind of a techier thing. Like there's a clip of you doing a foot plant pole jam wall ride, and that is like one of the coolest little clips, you know, just a good little, not like throwaway, but filler thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, yeah, I appreciate all you just said there. But yeah, it feels good to hear that for sure. But as far as the transition from big to small stuff, I don't know. I don't really know how to ride small, because I'm like such a tall dude, so the spots don't really add up to me. But yeah, bigger spots proportionally are better for me, just because of my height. But yeah, when it comes to the smaller stuff, I try and make it a little bit more of something that I haven't done before, or I haven't seen within BMX. So that's like my goal. If it's like, you know, the foot plant pole jam wall 180, you know, for instance, it's like I hadn't seen that before. So it really came down to the spot, finding the spot. The spot's the hardest thing, that whole trick. And yeah, just things like that. It's kind of how I like to look at it. But yeah, the bigger stuff is more exhilarating, and it gets the job done quick. It's a bit scarier. Takes the pressure off the filmers a little bit. They just stand back and hope for the best. But yeah,
definitely, man. So I've just thrown on your Vans Illustrated part in the background here, so everybody should be able to see that on my end. Yeah, so let's talk about Vans. You know, you were able to get a full-length part in their new video Illustrated, which I guess is not that new, but I think it's their newest full-length, right?
Yeah, that's their first and only full length that they've done. So
wow.
Yeah, that was 2016, I think. Yeah, 2016. But yeah, they gave me an opportunity. I was like helping film with the dudes, also with so I was filming with Ty and Dakota, and Bruno came out, filmed with him. Also, the first trip for the video was actually Perth, which is my hometown, and so I was kind of on all the trips. And, you know, by the end of the video there, Justin Kosovich was like, "You have enough footage for a part?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." And they kind of, whipped it up, and it went through, and Jerry Batters approved it. And I got in there with the boys, and I was pretty lucky. So they gave me that opportunity. But yeah, I mean, I worked hard for it. I definitely went in and tried my best. And we had about, I guess, like 8 to 10 months to film that. So with everybody, there was a lot of work. I was filming everybody and trying to get clips. So it was pretty stressful, honestly. But to see it all come to life and like go to the Austin premiere, and I don't know, that was pretty special for me, for sure. So shout out to Vans and Jerry Batters, Justin Cosman, Colin McKay. Appreciate you guys for real for that one.
Yeah, man. So I was going to say, you know, when it comes to these huge video projects, I feel like the pressure is really on. Your clips have to be able to stand with everyone else's amazing footage. And when you're up against people, you know, not up against, but when your team or the other riders there are people like Scotty Kramer, you know, Pat Casey, Dan Lacey, Jason Watts, Brian Chikinski, and just so many other huge names, that is a big order, man. That is a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're
The key is just not to think about it.
fair enough.
As soon
Eh?
as you think about it, it's all over. You won't film at all. I think you just need to go out there with like just energy, good energy, and if one of the dudes gets a clip, you try and get something, and you don't step on toes. That's number one. These dudes are established. These guys are the big dudes. You want to go to spots that they're not trying to film at, you know, and you want to find some new stuff and bring a part to the table that is unique and it has its own style. And yeah, it's hard. You never judge yourself to another person in street riding, especially maybe in a contest, but yeah, when it comes to street biking, we're all just doing our own shit. And if you think about it too much, dude, it fucking, like, the older I get, the more I think about it, for sure.
Yeah.
Because you're like, the new generation's coming up with that. But then, you know, once you go out there and you do your thing, you realize you're your own thing, your own person, your own style and look. Like, nobody can take that from you. And you don't have to do the biggest and best thing. You don't have to try and progress the last part you did. I mean, you want to, but, you know, you're getting older. You can't just send it every time and hope for the best. It's like, unfortunately, I went down the path of like bigger things and bigger setups, and that's like a burden in a way because you got to maintain that. But you can also adapt. You know, you can find, you know, those little things that are unique, or like, you know, trying to do new tricks that are smaller on, you know, different setups. I don't know. Maybe it's just setup orientated, which is, you know, you got to find that stuff, spots, just being the first at a spot before anybody sees it. I think that's another bonus. And Dakota Roche is amazing for that, you know, and I love seeing his video parts, like Native Land parts, come out. It's spots that I'm like, dude, how have I not seen that? Like, you know, we're in the same city. Like, fucking, this guy's traveling. He's finding things, you know, he's finding things I've never seen before. Skate videos, BMX videos. And like, you know, not a lot of people appreciate that, but like, I fucking do. Like, that shit's real, really real. Like, so if you're out filming video parts, just find that new shit and be unique. And the tricks are one thing, but there's so much more to it, for sure. There's a whole nother world. But yeah,
definitely, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to mention, you know, the clips and whatnot are obviously a huge part of it, but I think that like just the style and like if you can kind of, it sounds really weird to certain people who wouldn't understand this, but if you can kind of tell a story through your riding, you know, it's such a big thing. Like, and with your part, man, it is incredible. There's so many awesome clips in there, you know, like right away.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, dude.
Right away, there's this fire escape rail that you do a double peg grind down. And these are literally some of the gnarliest spots in BMX are these fucking fire escape rails. And I have no idea why anybody fucks with them after seeing the video of Dylan Lloyd. Have you seen that video?
Yeah, dude, that's fucked.
God.
It's so brutal.
Yeah, dude.
Dylan like showed me that like a year ago. Like, I don't know where he got the clip from. He had it on his phone or something. And I was like, dude, like he hopped and just like completely went over it. Like he didn't even, just dangerous. Shout out to Deal for that one though.
Yeah, so I'm going to play the clip here, but why don't you just tell us about how you even found this spot? Was this something that you stumbled upon, or was this something that you had really hyped yourself up to do for quite a while?
Oh, so this is on the back. Oh, the wall rail?
No, sorry, the fire
one.
escape.
Fire escape, all right. Yeah, the fire escape rail. So that one's in Beverly Hills. I shouldn't be saying that. I'm just giving the spot away. No, so I'm not giving the spot away. It's in Beverly Hills. It's in like a courtyard, actually. So it's surrounded, like if you were driving on Santa Monica, you wouldn't see it. It's not Santa Monica, actually. It's like Beverly. Wilshire, sorry. You wouldn't be able to see it. You'd have to, it's kind of a hidden one. But yeah, I ended up getting that randomly with Bob Randell. Bob Randell was in town. We filmed that. But yeah, it's got a shitty run up. There's actually there's a fair few of those fire escape rails in LA. There's like a really good one. I'm not going to give it away, but yeah, just there's a few of them.
Yeah, those things are always so gnarly, and the list of people who have actually successfully done stuff on them is so fucking small. I think it's you, denim Cox and like maybe 10 other people, like super small.
Yeah, they've got a. It's weird because if there was stairs on the other side, it would just be a normal handrail. But for whatever reason, those like left side death drop rails or right side death drop rails or whatever you want to call it, they're just hopping out to them is fucked. Like it kind of throws you off on a lot of tricks. I had like a little battle for Champagne with similar setup. Never got the trick, but I tried to crook it and I got bodied, and I just
Oh my
couldn't.
God.
I want to throw you're throwing your front end over to the death side, and I just like was in a mental battle for like an hour. I was just double pegging, and I just went fuck it, and I just went for a Hail Mary, and I got bodied. My back peg fell off, and yeah, that's just what happens with those setups. Are just mentally they're just mentally like fucking with you. They're not. It's not that you couldn't do the trick. If it was just in the middle of the stair set, you would just do it because you're not worried about a big drop, or it's hard to break the barriers. But yeah, those fire escapes kind of setups or whatever, yeah, their death drops are scary.
Yeah, definitely, man. There was another clip in there that is just incredible, and it's the overpegs grind that you did on this huge 19 stair rail, and you kind of go over, and there's a big drop on the one side as well. So that definitely, I always love a good overpegs grind, and that is on the top list of the, best 5 overpegs grinds of all time.
I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, that was a scary one. And Christian Regal ended up blessing me with that spot. We had like I don't know what was going through my brain, but I was like, we're going to film a fucking part with 20 stairs. And that one ended up being 19, so didn't make the cut. But all that footage that we actually filmed for that project went to Vans Illustrated because they blessed me with that part, and Christian ended up giving the footage over to them, which was really cool. So
yeah. That clip is incredible, man. It's wild to see you pull that one off. Was that kind of another spot that you had looked at for a while, or not really?
No, that was Christian just took me there. He was like, do this. And DeMarcus was actually trying to do something up that rail. He was trying to go up it. I don't know if he ever got that.
Yeah.
I think he might have. Because he's been working on a part with Christian for a while now, which will be out very soon, I'd say. So keep an eye out for that. But we went there for DeMarcus, and then Christian was like, yeah, you could do the overgrind on that thing. He opened the gate, like he popped the lock, and you know what Christian's like. He's just going to get it done for you no matter what.
Yeah.
And, it was pretty cool. We ended up working out first try. So
yeah, and I also feel like when Christian Regal tells you that you've got to try it, he's kind of like the Pegs King. Like his video part in Is It Still United? He literally has 2 clips that aren't like peg grind clips at all. Like the rest of it is all solid grinds.
He's a grinder. He knows how to fucking do it. He's one of the best, 100%. And like after that part, he literally was just like, I'm done. I'm not filming another part. And I was like, dude, you have to. I don't know. He will get back on it. He's just mountain biking for a bit.
Yeah, I actually saw
He's the best.
I saw some footage of him riding BMX yesterday, actually, but it was just skate park stuff. But
yeah.
Still,
yeah, he's still on the BMX. We rode Wilshire the other day.
Nice.
Me, DeMarcus, and him, and Brad was actually out too. It was a sick day. But,
dude,
he was shredding.
Dude, now that you mentioned Brad, huge shout out to him, man. And the news that he is now riding for Adidas, dude,
for real,
only him.
Brad's the man.
Yeah, only he could pull that off.
Yep, he's worked hard for it, man. He's been waiting a long time.
Yeah, so, I think he's like 35 plus, right?
Yeah, I think he's.
Yeah.
I don't want to quote his age, but I think he's 36. But not 100% sure.
Yeah,
but we're talking about our days. Like, dude, age ain't a thing when you're fucking riding like that. Like, he's so on top of his shit. Like, he's unreal. He's changed the game for BMX, and yeah, that's it. He showed it.
Yeah, the only reason that I mention his age is the fact that, Brad is one of those dudes who has been throwing down, not for a couple years, for the last fucking 15 years, dude. The last 20
Yeah.
years, this guy has been so good. And it literally was
Yeah.
just the one time, that took everybody to notice him. Because if you think about it, right, like last year he got on, I believe it's Fit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was on Fit Pro. He's, getting all these new sponsors and whatnot. Now he's riding for Adidas, which is huge. No BMX rider has ever done that. So, huge for him.
Yeah. No, he's been growing steadily. When he went away, he kind of disappeared for a bit from, our regular mainstream BMX.
Yeah.
Which would be like, you ride BMX and you dig mag and all that shit. It's like, he went and traveled the world for like 5 years, 6 years, learned multiple languages. Like he can speak multiple languages. He's an unbelievable dude, super intelligent when it comes to language and anything, And he was still riding fucking insane the whole time. But social media wasn't really there. It wasn't on his side because he could only exist with the media companies. And the media companies didn't really back him, and then the sponsors weren't there. They disappeared, and without the sponsors, the media companies don't back you, because it just trickles down. And it's like he went through all this shit, came back to the US, and he's like, oh, I can use this social media tool, and fuck the media companies, and fuck all that. Fuck the bike brands, all the sponsorships. He's like, I can just use this tool and post a crazy clip right now, and all you motherfuckers are going to post it too. And he figured it out. He figured out a formula that works for him, and it's his own lane. And now that he's built that, now the sponsors can come, and now the media companies can use him and use his clips. And I think it's pretty cool that he's been there the whole time, but he found a new way to like really take over and do it in his own life. So yeah, Brad's a super OG friend to me, and he's been out to Perth, my hometown, and we rode. I was probably like 19 years old. He's one of the first pros I ever rode with. So shout out to Brad, and put me on the right path, teaching me how to bunny hop. Literally.
Fuck yeah, man. Yeah, so what I was going to mention about Brad is, like you said, he kind of figured out his own way, and he kind of went on and did his own thing for a little while there.
Yeah.
And, I'm just checking his Instagram right now. He's got 285,000 followers on Instagram. Now, I'm going to check our BMX and see what they're at, 177K. So he's got 100,000 more followers than a BMX media company, right? Which is, no offense to those guys. Those guys are killing it. And obviously they got their start like 3 years ago. So they went through a lot.
Yeah. They lost their account.
Yeah.
Ride BMX lost the 650,000 followers. Whether they were real followers or not, who knows? Who cares? But I don't know.
The only thing, the only reason that I bring it up is because it proves your point that you were making there, that he went out on his own and fucking built that, right? Like he didn't just, look for fake followers or anything. That fucking dude put in the work and the time, and his riding shows that.
100%. Yeah. He figured it out, and he did it in his own way. And I mean, he earned that shit from day one. So
definitely
everything that he's getting is 100% earned. Like he's paid with blood. He's a beast.
Yeah, definitely, man. He's unreal. So let's get back onto your video part here, if you don't mind. So with Illustrated, the Ender is so interesting, man. This is something that is so crazy to kind of come up with, right? So for everybody that's listening and doesn't really know, it's basically a wall ride over this huge channel gap. And right when you are coming off the wall, you go into Smith on the end of this ledge and then go into a bank. And this channel gap has got to be at least 20 feet. It's not small. You're going to be full on cooking. So this?
That's again me being like, imagine if there wasn't a channel gap there. It's just a flat ledge line. It's just like literally a flat ledge trick. But it's like me like seeing a spot and twisting it into something that it's, you know what I mean? It's like a weird, it's not really anything, really. It's not that crazy, but the setup makes it crazy. The war ride to Smith on any spot is chill. That's a normal day-to-day thing for any bike rider or, you know, am or pro, whatever. But the spot makes it the spot, you know, and that's what was special to me. The spot is everything for that. Yeah, it's hard to find that. It's one in a million spot. It doesn't exist anywhere. I know that. It's the only place it exists. I mean, if someone can find another spot that looks like that, send it through. I would love to see it just for reference, or just go out there and do it. I want to see someone do it. So
Yeah, it's
spots, man.
It's such a wild clip, man. It's one of those ones that, like you said, you know, to you it's just a wall ride to a Smith on a ledge, right? But to everybody else, it's like there's a huge gap there. And my thought was always like, could you imagine just not getting into the wall properly? Like, you know, you just leaned a little bit too much, or maybe you pop into it way too much. Dude, that could have gone so bad. So it's rad that you pulled that off super clean.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to kind of get that one done? Was that a one and done?
It was a one and done.
Wow.
But I did war ride across it one time before that, I believe. And we got there, it was like 9 a.m. We drove from San Diego up to Ventura, which is like a 3-4 hour drive almost. And yeah, we left super early, got there like 9:30. And yeah, got it done. But yeah, it's like one of those things. It's like the setup. It's like, it's an illusion. It's like the magician just like tricked you guys. That's what it is. It's simple, but it honestly is. It's the setup, and that's again where I go back to is like setups are the illusion that creates good video parts, or you know, something you remember. And you know, you can find it in so many spots. Yeah.
Definitely, man. Yeah, so overall, I just want to say, you know, your Vans Illustrated part, incredible. You know, it holds its own. Like, it'll be a timeless part. I think people will go back to it for years to come.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no problem. Yeah, so while we're on the topic of Vans, let's talk about Shimmer. So Shimmer was a video that was produced by you with the Vans, and it featured riding from Bruno Hoffman, Andrew, Dakota, Lewis, you know, Sean, Travis, and yourself, and then obviously Ty Morrow as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
amazing time right there.
Yeah. So this is incredible, right? These are all dudes that film, you know, full 6-minute parts all the time, but you managed to get these guys to do 14 minutes total across the board of amazing nonstop great footage. So, you know, how did this how did this project come along?
The project was born from Ty had a shoe coming out, and Ty was going to film a video part for the shoe. And I kind of was like, oh, it'd be cool to do it with your friends and have like dudes you ride with that ride for Vans all together and kind of like create this mixtape of, you know, build it up into like, it's not just one edit. It's a family, it's a vibe, it's a crew, which it really is. All those dudes in that video, we all hang out. We're all local. We're all close, you know, besides Bruno, he's a little bit further away, obviously in Germany, but that whole like, dynamic came about just like that. And then Vans didn't really know what we were doing, and I just kept filming. And then we had a meeting and we had half the video done, and they were like, all right, cool, we approve it. And I was already like probably 5 or 6 months in. It wasn't approved. But it's like, that's just how you got to get shit done. You've just got to, video parts take time. So yeah, it was cool that Vans approved that and let that happen. And I think Ty and his shoe and everything came out really nicely as a marketing piece as well for Vans. I think it's like an organic, real true, you know. Just BMX. That's what BMX is for me. Like that style, all those dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man. And those guys are all top of the line. You know, these are Vans riders. These aren't just, you know, average BMX riders. These guys are on top of it. So you had said, you know, how long to film it? About a year or two?
This one was, again, probably like 10 or 8 to 10 months. Everything's usually within a year base because we have a 3-month window of not editing, but like a final piece. Our videos at Vans sit for about 3 months before they go online. So yeah, it's probably like 8 months, 9 months. And Ty obviously had to work super hard for this one because he had the closing part and a shoe coming out. So the main focus was Ty with the shoe, and Dakota obviously just absolute beast, just went for it and got an amazing introductory part for the whole piece. So everybody else in the video was just to have fun and get some footage and like bring it together for Ty, and that's, I think, kind of, hopefully that's what everybody felt when they watched it. It was like the boys giving Ty, a moment with his shoe and giving him a cool video part. So yeah, it was a good time. I'd love to do another one.
It is such a original idea, when it comes to releasing a shoe, because realistically, most people would just go and film a 5-minute section with Ty and put it out as that. And you guys kind of went above and beyond because you still had the same amount of time, except now you've got to fill 15 minutes with, 8 other people. Like, just wild, man.
I know. I do it to myself. I love it. I like the challenge, and I'd rather have more people in a video. And I think it just brings like, I want kids to watch this shit and be like, oh, there's a fucking crew. Like, there's dudes like all together, like they're traveling the world together. Like, create that moment. It's just, you need that. You need that for, that's what I watched when I was a kid, watching these videos and being like, fuck, I would love to like go do that stuff, like travel and like film a video. And yeah, hopefully this is like, that next generation's video. So, and there's plenty of other ones out there, that people are doing amazing projects. Fiend guys, Mike Mastroni, the Headlights video. Like, there's a lot of good videos coming out all the time. But yeah, some are special and some are just a product piece, And I think making the special ones takes time, and you got to do it. You have to do it. If you don't do it, then you're in the wrong business. It's got to be special.
Definitely, man. I completely agree with you. That's a good way of looking at it, actually, is like distinguishing between product piece and like a moment, something like that.
Yeah.
So, as a filmer,
exactly.
As a filmer, you're going to be behind the scenes constantly, obviously. You're going to be there for everything. So was there any kind of crazy off-camera moments that you can tell us about? Yeah,
I mean, from Shimmer, I guess like Ty kind of got a piece of glass in his arm that kind of ruined his Australia trip right off the bat. It was the first trick of the trip. And he basically does a line and it ends with an overtooth. And yeah, he just slid out, put his arm in, got a bunch of glass. And, that was an expensive trip for Vans, to send us out there. And unfortunately, Ty was out on the first trick, first clip, first everything. It's a long way to go to not get footage, and I think that was tough on him. But once he got back, he handled business as usual. But this is the line right here that he put his arm down. Actually.
Yeah, I figured so much.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty. He wanted to overcrank it, and he just went for like an airball overtooth because he overtoothed it before that, and that thing set him back for about 4 months.
Wow,
which was. The glass got removed, but there was more glass, and it pushed on a tendon, and the tendon was fucked. So he couldn't ride. He had like tennis elbow, like he couldn't do shit. And then he went to the ER and got it removed, and then it took all these like exercises, like, and this is in between filming for this freaking video. Like we're talking an 8-month window, so it's like he didn't have that much time to film for that part. Really, I could give him 6 months, which is pretty impressive. So.
Yeah, definitely super impressive to see him pull off such an amazing video part in that short of a time span. I feel like that is just who Ty Morrow is at the end of the day,
Yeah, he's a real pro, dude. He's no joke. Like you can sleep on him. You could be like, oh, Ty hasn't put a part out for a while, and then when that shit drops, you're like, that's right, it's fucking Ty. Like, you can't beat that dude.
Dude, so
he's
true.
Nuts.
Yeah,
it's nuts. And yeah, just FYI, there is a part coming out, another Ty part. It's pretty much finished. So
fuck yeah, dude.
It's coming soon, in the next month or two. So keep your eyes out.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. You know, another video that just came out kind of last year around this time, I think, was Kink Champagne. So Champagne was huge for Kink. It was, it won Nora Cup this year, did it not?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats to Daryl and Jay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Huge shout out to Daryl, man. That guy is unreal behind the lens. And to see his take on that was incredible, right? Like Champagne is filled with just incredible footage top to bottom. It's got, Nathan Williams, Travis Hughes, yourself, and the rest of the Kink crew. And you know who was really fucking cool? Chad Osborne, I believe his name is.
Oh, yeah.
His part,
Chad's a man.
Dude, oh my God. His part was so wild and so refreshing to see. I love to see big, fast-paced shit. And that's why I love your riding,
Yeah, I appreciate it, dude. But yeah, Chad, he's on another level. That opening clip, the gap into that big hubba, and he just like fucking eats it, like slides his face along the ground. Yeah, that was in Sydney, and that was like the first trick he tried, and he just got back up there and like sent it 2 more times, like with like a mild concussion. Like, dude's insane, like for real. So yeah, shout out to Chad, another savage.
Yeah, too wild, man.
Yeah, he's insane.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about this. How long were you on Kink Pro before you guys started filming this?
Probably since the start of the video. So it would have been 2017. And then we had like the Sydney trip where it was like, we went on it. It was like ACT Jam. So we're in Canberra as well. But Jay was like, yep, the office just approved a video. And if you guys want to go for it, you guys go for it. Let's film a video. And kind of started there, and then it went like the team changed. There's some additions, Nathan and Hobie, and then like from there, like once those dudes were on, then the video really happened. Like it really moved forward, like very fast. So there's a trip every month. Kink was really pushing it. But yeah, they did an awesome job. Like everybody got their time. There's some injuries there for me, which was tough, but got through it. Germany, I tore my LCL on the first day. That shit was pretty hard. And prior to that, I broke my wrist in Korea. So like I had a hard time bouncing back after that. And you only have a couple of years to film, so it all matters. If you lose six months just to injury, then it's the confidence time that you have to get back, which is just the same amount. It's a year, it's another 6 months. So, despite all that, great times with the dudes and everybody killed it. And yeah, that's just the way it goes. Video parts are hard. You get hurt. You got to move on to the next one. It's not the end. So just got to move on.
Yeah, I was going to mention the fact that I think that your video part in Champagne is actually one of your best video parts that you've ever come out with. Your headlights one is incredible and everything, but in my opinion, this one just had so much great riding in it, Dude,
I appreciate that. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
that was a hard video for me because just with the injury stuff and yeah, what I got done, I was super stoked on. You always want more. That's the hardest part where but it's like, I wish I had a little bit more. It's close. It's close for me. I'm going to move on to the next part. Hopefully get some things that I never got for this one. It should be cool.
Yeah, that'd be rad, man. Moving on from Champagne, that video part was incredible. It's definitely great. And again, like I said, features some of the best riding in there that I think that you've ever had.
Appreciate it, dude.
But yeah, moving on. So Ride BMX headlights, when it comes to getting a full-length part, there's nothing like getting a full-length part in a giant production like this, right? Because what's different about Ride is that they don't have to just keep who's on their crew for this video. They are able to go to other companies and other teams and say, hey, we want this guy for our video. So to be involved with this, obviously it's filmed by Mike Mastroni, who's kind of a big friend of yours, I would assume. So,
oh yeah, he is. He's the man.
Yeah, is that kind of how you got the in for this, or how did that come about?
Yeah, I don't know if it was essentially. I think we've always wanted to work together. Either I film him or him film me kind of thing. But yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know how it really came together. He always wanted to film a part, I think, with me, and it got to that point where he had an opportunity to do it with Ride, and I think Ride backed it too, you know, because they're the overseers of it all. You know, those dudes had to make the decision of who's riding in this video and then who the sponsors list are. You know, you've got to break down your sponsors, and you know, fortunate for me, I was with Kink, so it worked out, and Mastroni and me get along super well. So yeah, I've honestly like one of the best times I've ever had filming, because I actually had the opportunity to wake up, jump in the van, leave my bag at home, and actually be a rider. And that was like one of the first times I've ever really had that experience. And Mastroni looked after, like, you know, any little thing like spots, you know, just give me spots. And I'm like, wow. I'm usually like, I've got the spots. But he'd be like, no, I've got some shit that you would like to see. And that was cool, you know. And yeah, just maintenance, you know, if there was something in the way, he'd fucking get it sorted. So like that experience was great for me. Like honestly, like super stoked. And this is while filming for Champagne. So there's parts like, you know, I'm doing double time. So this is again injury time. I got like pretty fucked on this. These two videos were around the same time. So yeah, but honestly, the best time ever on the headlight stuff. Like this, yeah, Mastroni's the man for that.
Yeah, he's unreal when it comes to his work behind the lens, obviously, you know, like Mike is known for his riding, but he's also known for the incredible things that he's come out with over the years, and Headlights was one of those. And,
Yeah.
you know, when you're looking at the list of riders in this, you know, just to name a few: Biz Jordan, Elf, Jake Seeley, you know, obviously Brock Rayford, Justin Spreet, Mike and Tate, and then DeMarcus Paul, and then yourself.
Yeah.
That is an A-list of BMX riders, you know? Like, those are all A-list guys. Those are the best of the best. So to be involved in this is wild. And what's rad about it, too, and I think that Mike did a great job with this, is that the riding doesn't get boring. There's nobody in there that has a part that is like each part, or like somebody else's part. You know, everything is so different, and it has such a variety, even when it comes to, you know, Tate and Mike's stuff, because they do ride very creative, right? And to have both those parts in there is kind of weird, but it worked so well.
No, I agree. Yeah, that Mike has a good look and direction for all the videos that he does, and on top of that, the music is freaking awesome too. So yeah, it all plays a part. Like, you know, just finding the rhythm within the video. You have, you know, 10 video parts in there. It's like the music has to be a soundtrack. It has to be right. It has to sound a certain way, and it has to be ups and downs. And I think he did a good job of that. And with the budget that he had, you know, the music budget it's another thing. It's hard when you have to get 10 tracks. It's a lot of money, and, you know, he figured out a way to, you know, get artists on board and, you know, pay them what they should get paid and not get overrun by Sony and Warner Brothers and all that shit, because they'll charge you an arm and a leg. But yeah, he did a great job, I thought. So Mike killed it.
Definitely, man. So one of my favorite clips from the Headlights part is kind of different from ones that we've talked about already, but you know, it's a wall to pegs 180. So this just really shows how great you are as a rider. You know, you're able to do these big, gnarly, you know, quote, man shit, like, you know, BMX tricks, but you're also able to kind of get into more techie style stuff. So, yeah, what was that like? Was that kind of a spot that he picked?
No, that's in Fremantle. That's in Perth.
Oh, wow.
That's a long way away. It's another one of those spots, man, that's just like, it's a spot. That's all it is. The trick is it's a wall ride and a double peg and an easy 180. But the spot is the thing that makes it. It's a magician tricking you again. But obviously it was hard. It wasn't easy. But it's 1 in a million spot, you know. Again, if someone can find me a setup, show me a setup like that, and go do it. Definitely somebody go do it. It's just what it comes down to for me.
That is that's a dream setup right there, man. I know a lot of people that would be so down to ride something like that. Even just the wall into like that 45 where the ledge is perfect. Like
it's
that
perfect.
is insane.
Yeah, it's 1 in a million. So that's why I like that shit, man. It's just cool, and it's hard to find, and you don't have people doing the same thing as you, in the next video part. So you can, unless they find the same spot, because the spot's only designed for that one trick, realistically.
Yeah,
it's just it's
definitely. Cool. Yeah, that's such a great clip, man. And then there's a crazy gap to crook that you do at about 3 minutes in, and the rail looks like it's been cut. So I was going to ask was that rail cut by you guys to film this, or was this something that some other skaters had come out and done? Because Mike and I had talked. Sorry,
the school did it. The school.
Whoa.
Yeah, they cut it to stop us from riding it. That's what's insane. Yeah, they did it on all the rails, and they also chained the rails. So there was chains, and they cut it, which is unreal. But dude, I've had like 10 years worth of grinding there, and bike riding just experience on those rails. They're perfect. And then I got to a certain point with bike riding where I was like, I can't really film anything more on those rails. And then they cut them out. They made them gap to rails, and then they opened the spot up even more. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool that they did that, but also the next generation coming up doesn't get to enjoy those perfect 12 and 16 stair rails that they used to be. So
but wild. It is so crazy to think that they actually went by and cut those, because Mike and I were talking about how skaters, if they want a gap to rail, they'll just go and cut a rail. Like they'll just go cut the first one out, and that's it, right? So I was like, I was wondering if anybody kind of went along and did that, but to hear the school did it is wild. Like, thanks for the spot, This is wild.
Oh, no, all of them. There's a 16 stair further up, and it's split down the middle, so it's perfectly sized. You can grind the top piece to gap to the second stage of this next piece. It's like it's one of the gnarliest schools. Yeah, like, if you go there to film video parts, there's shit to be done there.
Wild, man.
But,
so here's kind of a random question for you, but what feels better, a locked tooth hanger down a giant rail, or a very clean ice pick?
The hanger for sure.
Yeah.
The hanger. Yeah. It's wilder, but also like, I'd say the hanger.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have some of these clips in your video parts, and it's in more than one, but it's like hanger right here, and then, big clean ice pick right here.
Yeah, but that rail, I've always wanted to do that on that rail.
Yeah.
For like before I moved out to California. So that's another thing. Like that's like that ice pick felt really right for sure. But hangers are wild. They're fucking good. They're the best.
Yeah, I kind of assumed that you're a hanger guy with all the hangers that you do, Definitely so nuts, man. I can't even imagine. Like, I've never hangered a handrail before. I would love to, but I'm just not that good anymore.
No, you got that. You'll work into it for sure.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, it's on my list, man. I've got a small list of things that I know I want to accomplish in my years of BMX riding, and doing a hanger on a handrail is one of them. So
you got to find the right rail, dude, and you'll send that thing for sure.
Fuck yeah. So your ender in the headlights part is incredible, and I think it's something that is so unique and is honestly, I've never really seen too many people do it other than yourself. And that's when you go for a crook on a rail, sometimes you won't go beside the rail and set your wheel over. You'll go straight at the rail and hop over and into it, if that makes sense. So for everybody at home that's listening, right, if you normally grind left side, you would roll up on, the right and kind of hop into it, put your pegs on, and your front peg would go over and on. Whereas you honestly just go straight at the rail so that it's perfectly in front of you, and you put, you hop and then put both in. It's honestly mind-blowing.
Yeah, that one's, I've never seen anybody else do it either. It's one of those tricks that, I've been trying to put in my video parts. but I don't think it's been really pushed too hard with other riders. But I think if people do it, they'll realize it's pretty fucking cool. It's a cool feeling trick because it's weird. You're going straight over the back. It makes it a whole different trick. It's a spin off Van Homan, doing the manual over the back of the Philly rail.
Oh,
and
that's
my take. That's my take on it, to turn it into a grind, because I thought you can only do tie ride and a manual over the back, and I was like, well, no, technically if you split it left and right, you have a crook as long as you go over the back, and that's kind of where I got it. That same, Van Homan mentality of the manual and the over the back tie ride stuff. But yeah, it's interesting. It's a different trick. I can do the over crook, I can do the regular crook, and then that's suicide crook.
That's a good name for it. I like it.
It's that's stolen from skate. So skate, when they do that over the back, it's a suicide 50-50 or a 5-0, and when they go straight over the back. And it makes sense because it really is. It's terrifying. But
oh my God, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where that all came from. But I'm glad I got it on that rail, because that was a bigger rail. I pushed it a little bit further than the previous ones. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is something that is so unique to you and your style, right? Like, I've never seen anybody else do this except for you. And like you had mentioned, it's kind of it pays homage to Van Homan with him doing manuals on rails. So yeah, that's fucking sick, dude. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you find inspiration from your OG pros and skateboarding. That's a mix right there in between. That's a perfect example. Bring the two together. It's like, Van Homan did this, skate guys can do this. It's like, how can I bring something new to the table that existed now? So
fuck yeah.
Yeah,
man. So your headlights part, again, incredible. Great riding in there. There's so many awesome clips and whatnot, and I'm happy we got to talk about those. And I think the best video, that you've put out online has to be Drunk BMX versus Pub Wall Ride. This clip is amazing, and I love the entire thing behind it. And it's just one of those things that is so funny. Like, and what I find like hilarious is the fact that it doesn't really have too many views. No offense. It only has 500 views, but it's amazing.
People don't need to see it. No, it's a local pub, man, down the road. We lit the fucking spot up, which is insane. Dude. Because it was like, and Callan Stibbards is filming that, and we're both drinking in the pub and putting it down. Every time we finished a drink, I'd be like, all right, this is the one. This is going to happen right now. He's like, all right, cool. And we'd walk out. I'd grab my bike and pedal straight to this wall ride. And I would eat shit. I'm pretty sure I went through 2 or 3 drinks before I actually landed the thing. So the third drink I was down, because that was the rule. If I didn't land it, I'd have to drink another drink, full drink, before I could try it again. And I had a buddy just out there with a generator running, lights running, and it was ridiculous. That's how much time we had on our hands.
Dude, what I love about this is I just can't imagine going into the bar with this huge HPX with a massive fisheye on it. And you can hear in the background, people are like, hey man, why are you bringing a camera in here? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Dude, they were not stoked. And we'll just come back in, and I'll bring the bike into the little hall area.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, you can't bring your bike in. It's like, nah, we're buying drinks. We're spending money. What's the big deal? And then we'd run out again. They'll be like, nah, you can't be doing that. It's like, no, we're just fucking around. And then by the third one, I finally landed it I slipped on the wall like shit, but somehow survived that one. I don't know.
Oh man, so great. So one question that I had right away was, did you guys buy the guy outside a drink for waiting with the generator and whatnot? Did he have a nice little sixer with him?
we had the bottle shop right there. We call it a bottle shop back home. I don't know if you call it that in Canada. I think you guys do, right? Call it a bottle shop?
No, typically beer store or Lickbo. Lickbo being a liquor control board. Yeah.
No, we had the bottle shop right there. So as soon as we landed that one, we grabbed a few beers. So
yeah, nice.
That's classic right there. Classic Australia shit. Just drink and ride.
Yeah, I love it, man. I think what I love so much about it is that it's literally you guys going and like, the clip online is you finishing a drink, going outside, trying it, eating shit, and then walking back up and then just walking in. And the camera doesn't like, you guys don't fast forward the clip. It's literally all within like 6 minutes. And then you pull it. But it's just so funny to see you down this fucking, I think it was what was it?
Coke?
Yeah, Jack and Coke. Yeah. It's just you down in this thing like so quickly.
Oh, dude, yeah. I was just like, I just want this trick over and done with. What am I fucking doing? I was like, that was just like, yeah, that's just me being young and stupid.
Oh man, I love it. It's such a great clip, dude. Honestly,
because that clip was used in my video part, but the entirety of it and the motivation behind it was never put out until recently. That's why it's just online, like on my YouTube channel or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty funny. There's a bit more to the story on that one.
Oh man, I love it. Yeah, so let's jump into some fan questions. I'm gonna leave this playing in the background. I've got it going from the start to the end just so everybody can watch it. So yeah, let's jump into some fan questions here. So from the one and only Mike Mastroni, favorite Australian comedians.
Oh, I'm gonna have to say Jim Jeffries for sure.
Definitely.
I don't know if you guys are a fan out there, but
huge fan. He's awesome.
Tread lightly when listening to him. Just understand it's comedy.
Yeah,
that's all that I can say with Jim. But yeah, I mean, I'd say Jim's just like number one Australian for me, comedy wise.
He's so good.
Yeah, there's a fuck, what's his name? Chris Lilly too. Amazing.
Yeah, he
does that Summer Heights High TV show. If you're a fan of Chris Lilly, you already know he's great. But yeah, I'll give them those two great comedians from Australia.
Yeah, and then another question here from Mike Mastroni: best/worst trends in BMX.
Best trends? I don't know. Worst trends. Fuck, I don't like going down these paths because then I feel like an asshole.
I know, it is kind of weird, right? I try and stay with mostly positive stuff, but once in a while I'll definitely shit on some stuff.
It's a trick question.
It is.
It's a trick, Mike. It's a trick question. Trends aren't cool in general. And trends, fuck trends. There's no good or bad trend because trends are irrelevant in my thought process.
Love it.
How about that?
That's great.
That works, right?
That's awesome,
trick
man.
Question.
Alrighty, so from Sean Harrison, when will the next Kink DVD be coming out? So obviously you guys just finished Champagne a year ago, so you guys probably need a break for a little bit.
We just finished. It was I hope that was enough for you guys, but if not, I'm sure we'll be back on the road. We're going to be back on the road. The boys are actually on a trip this week, I believe. I'm missing out, unfortunately, but they'll be putting out content on a regular basis. The pandemic slowed us down a little bit, naturally, and we're trying to obviously keep everybody safe and in the van, but safe. That's the only thing. Everybody's getting negative tests. That's all that matters. It's coming. The boys are working on stuff right now. So
hell yeah, man. And sorry to interrupt you, but your clip here of you drinking and then coming out and doing the wall ride is now finally finishing. I love it.
Finally landed it.
Oh, I love it. That's such a funny clip, dude. Alrighty.
Oh, my YouTube channel is gonna blow up finally.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't have that many subs, man. So Lars Roland, how do you man up for big rails? Also, you have the most style of any rider. Cheers.
Oh shit, man! Appreciate that. Going up to a rail, I guess it's just the confidence from the last one, and if you can work up from a 5-stair all the way into a 6 or 7, just confidence all the way through to the bigger setup, and then it's the same with the trick variation that you're trying. It's just that confidence, and it's like a memory that you build from a past experience. I don't think you can just go and approach something without the experience or a memory. But once you have that, you could be 2 years in between doing a crazy hanger on like a big rail, but you have that memory and that thought process and that like confidence to do it. So it just really is that. I don't think it's me being a psychopath or crazy. I think I'm very calculated, and I appreciate my body and my health. So yeah, I don't want to try and put myself in jeopardy, but yeah, it's just confidence from previous experiences.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to mention that I believe you are very calculated when it comes to your riding. You know, you definitely know the risks, but you also work around those. Like the way that you
Yeah,
ride, you've really figured it out. And a lot of the dudes that ride similar, right, that go fast and go big, they've kind of figured out what they are capable of. And a lot of them won't go, absolutely batshit on something that they're not sure about.
yeah, exactly. It's just finding that balance and knowing what you can and can't do, but also pushing it a little bit further too when you are in doubt. You've got to know that, like, when to push and when to pull. Really, it's a fine one. But yeah, it just all set up and trick base what you're confident in. So
Definitely,
yeah.
man. Yeah, so this one comes in from Dave. I'm not going to say your last name because there's no way I'm going to pronounce that right. Do you ever plan on moving back to Australia?
Yeah, I do for sure. I'd love to get back. And right now, with the world in its state that it is in, there's a possibility that I might be back sooner than later. So, I mean, hopefully not. I'd love to keep filming video parts and being a part of the US BMX industry, because it's exhilarating, it's fun, get to travel, hang out with all the boys, good times. But yeah, got to get home too. And Australia's got a lot to give, so I'm down 100.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually going to ask, what did you do with all your stuff? Are you still paying for an apartment in the States right now, or how'd that work out?
No, so I moved out of my spot last week. I still
Yeah,
actually have the spot until the end of the month. But I have a 15 passenger van,
nice.
and I ended up loading all my stuff into that, and it's parked at Vans HQ. So
Nice. There
it's
you go.
good little way to get out. So rent free, bill free for now.
Yeah.
For a few months, which is good. I mean, fuck. This is probably the last time I get to do that. So after that, it's mortgage and rent for the rest of my life. So
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Oh, man.
yeah.
Yeah, so this one comes in from Gerard Butler. Any signature parts in the works?
Nothing at the moment, but you never know. Maybe something. I'd like to do. I've always wanted to do like a colorway with the backwards frame, which is the frame that I'm running right now. It's yeah, it's a sick frame. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they're doing over there at Kink. They're busy. They got a bunch of new product coming out all the time. Travis frame just came out. Hobie's got a frame coming out, I believe. I shouldn't be spilling it too early, but I think he's got a prototype maybe coming out. Yeah, Nathan's frames out. Yeah, we got a bunch of good stuff over there. So whether my name's on it or not, it's all good shit. So
Fuck
the
yeah,
best stuff
man.
in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, if they give you a colorway for the backwoods frame, a missed opportunity that I saw right away was the fact that they didn't do a purple, like the I forget what they call them. I think it's the wild berry ones. In Canada, we have really weird tobacco laws,
Oh.
so we can't call any of our tobacco flavors at all. So like for us,
Hmm.
your wild berry backwoods would be ruby port here. It's just really weird. They have dumb
It's
names
way
for it.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all different everywhere. Yeah, the colors are fucking. I think they do it purple.
I
I don't
don't
even.
think they did. I'm gonna feel so
No,
dumb if I find this. Like if I
I think
figure
it's
this
just
out.
like it's like the logo. Like
Yeah,
one
the
of the logos
logo.
on the seat is just like is the purple like
Yeah.
packaging look, but I don't think they did it purple.
Dude, if you guys could
Ah.
do that crazy like purple packaging look where it has the it kind of looks like a honeycomb thing going on with it. If you guys could do that
Yeah,
on a frame, holy shit, dude. That
that'd be
is
hard. I'm
dude,
sure they could figure that out for sure.
I'm gonna tell you this
Definitely.
right now. You guys would be fucking printing money. Like, there's so many kids that would buy that shit instantly.
It's all about the clout, dude. It's about that hype.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they could do it for sure. I think Matt's in charge of all the product design over there, and he could find a source out there to do it, whatever the process is.
Dude, that would be insane. It would look so good, I bet.
No, it'd be sick.
Oh man. Alrighty. So our last fan question comes in from a good friend of mine, Jesse Dzikowicz. Yeah, he wants to know, what's it like being the most handsome man in BMX?
Oh God. Yeah, I appreciate that. I don't know if I am though. There's so many good looking dudes out there, I guess, in that world. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it feels good. It feels good.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go, man.
Oh, I
Alrighty.
appreciate it.
So before we go, Calvin, I have one more question for you. This one's from me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, as someone who is known for their fast-paced, go big style, what's your advice for kids out there who want to replicate that? And any words of wisdom for filming or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. As far as it comes with writing and replicating people's styles, definitely, find someone that you're into, whatever the pro is, and learn from them and study, what they do. But there's going to be a point where you have to be yourself, and you've got to push past all that and not be the same. And everybody goes through it. I looked up to people, Jimmy Levan, Sean Burns. I loved all those dudes, and you can see an element from my writing in that, but there's also a personal, touch to it. And you can replicate people, but also like think about,
Be original,
changing,
right?
Be original. Yeah. Just change it a little bit, take a few people, bring them together, bring 5 people together and be like, that's a cool combo, and I think, that's what music is too. People make music that way. It's like they bring 5 artists that they love and they merge it, and then they create their own music. And it seems original, which it is, because they just found 5 different styles and brought them together. But yeah, that, and as far as filming goes, just film everything. Like, get a camera, always film the session, learn how to like fisheye film, because I think that's key. And that's the future, lines. Kids love doing lines. The new gen, old gen, we all love lines. So get on the fisheye, film, and shoot film as well. Like literally 35mm camera. Go get like a Kodak or point and shoot. Spend a little money if you have it, and just document. Yeah, you have a good ass time and a lot of stuff to look back on too. When you get older. For sure.
Fuck yeah, man. Yeah, this is dude, Calvin, this has been incredible. Thank you so much for joining us today. And there was still so many questions on here, but I didn't want to take up any more time. So maybe next time, we'll have you on again.
Next time, dude. Yeah, no, 100%. I appreciate you having me, and it was good chatting, mate, and finally meeting as well. And it's a big bonus to talk to someone who gives a shit about what we're doing. So
fuck yeah, man.
BMX,
of course.
man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, is there anything you want to promote? Anything you want to shout out before we go?
I mean, yeah, shout out to Kink BMX, Vans BMX, and also local BMX shop in Fremantle. Those 3 companies have always looked out for me. And yeah, there's, J Rowe, also Jerry Batters, and Colin McKay, Andrew Mapstone, all those people that have been, looking after me while I'm in the US. And everybody. Dakota, Ty, Andrew Cass, all the boys out in LA, Tony Nyer. I mean, there's just so many good people in this shit, man. It's it's cool.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, again, thank you for joining us. If you just want to stay on the line, I'm going to end this off here. So yeah, thank you guys.
So easy.
Yep. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.